everybody, Killer Winston here, and today I will be doing What If Deku Was Tristan Part 23. So in the last part, Deku just found out that Dahlia was captured by the League of Villains, and thinking that Bakugo was the cause for Dahlia's capture, he would have basically lashed out at Bakugo. But after making a deal with Bakugo, he, along with Bakugo, Kirishima, Ida, Momo, and Todoroki, would have went to that factory just like canon, with them witnessing a battle between All Might and All For One. But this time, since All For One was basically stronger by drinking some demon blood, he would have overpowered All Might. Deku, seeing that All Might is in trouble, he would have of course rushed in and helped All Might, with All For One knowing Deku's abilities and powers. He would have called in backup in the form of those failed experiments and some Nomus. However, before they can clash with each other, Dahlia would have also joined the battle, knowing that those failed experiments has a weakness. Now, continuing the story, after Deku created another sword from darkness, he would have rushed in towards All For One, with All For One reacting by ordering all of his troops, and by troops I mean his failed experiments and Nomus, to also rush in and towards Deku, Dahlia, and All Might. Deku using both of his swords, he would have continued to rush towards All For One while slashing away at everything that's between them. As for Dahlia and All Might, they would have been fighting off those Nomus and failed experiments. Deku arriving in front of All For One, he would have, well, tried to slash away at All For One. But just then, All For One would have summoned some darkness orbs, with one of them blocking Deku's attack. The others, let's say there are 3 more, they would have went straight into Deku and basically attack him. Deku, being surprised, he would have been caught off guard and get sent flying away. But just as Deku was sent flying away, All For One would have used one of his quirks to basically catch Deku. Him pulling Deku in and saying that he needs Deku alive and that he will use his blood to make an army. Him using a quirk to suck out blood from Deku, which if you're wondering how he got it, he basically especially found this quirk for him to use this on Deku. All For One, while he's extracting Deku's blood, he would have basically transferred Deku's blood into himself and causing him to get stronger. All For One saying, now, hold still. It won't be long until I'm done. However, while All For One was saying that, Deku's left eye would have glowed with a bright light, with a goddess symbol appearing in his left eye. Deku would have fired a blast of light into All For One, this disconnecting All For One's quirk to Deku and, well, dropping Deku while sending All For One back a bit. Deku, thinking that this can buy him some time, he would have got back up and start to heal his wounds with his goddess powers. As before he can do that, All For One would have just fired a air cannon towards Deku, this interrupting Deku's healing process. Deku would have realized that he actually did a lot less damage into All for One. Him also realizing that he is like a lot weaker. Him trying to think of a way to defeat All for One while not getting weaker again, or just not getting his blood being sucked by All for One. However, that was when All for One would have used his quirk again. Deku, seeing that coming, he would have jumped out of the way while continuing to think of a way to defeat All for One. While Deku was doing that, his upper left arm would start to have a bit of pain. Deku being confused, as that was when a flashback would have happened, with that flashback being about a technique with 2 words. This flashback, of course, catching Deku off guard, he would have stopped in his tracks, causing him to be captured by All for One again. However, All for One this time, instead of just sucking out all of Deku's blood with his quirk, he would have gotten a bit more greedy. Him firing a blast of darkness into Deku while sucking his blood out. Basically, All for One is trying to milk out every single drop of Deku's blood. And if you're wondering why, even though All for One can just suck out all of Deku's blood with his quirk and still attack Deku, well, it's because of a rumor he heard about demons or inhumans producing more blood when being attacked or when fighting. But since there isn't any inhuman other than Deku on Earth, well, there are, it's just that All for One only knows that Deku is inhuman. He is currently testing out that rumor. But after attacking Deku for like 10 to 15 times while sucking his blood out, All for One would have been interrupted by Dahlia and All Might, them having to basically defeat every single Nomu and save those humans that are, well, controlled by those squid-like creature and causing them to transform into that failed experiment. They would have attacked All for One and tried to save Deku. Them doing so, as All Might would have started to basically try and keep All for One occupied, while Dahlia is checking on Deku. And while Dahlia was asking if Deku is okay or not, Deku would have pulled Dahlia in and whispered into Dahlia's ear his plan. After doing that, Dahlia would of course show concerns, but Deku reassuring that he's going to be fine, he would have kissed her in her cheek. Dahlia being taken aback by Deku's surprise kiss, she would have just followed along with the plan. Her helping Deku get back up, as she would have ordered her Spirit Aspen to basically attack All for One. All for One, while he was in the middle of punching All Might in the stomach, he would have been hit by Aspen. This sending him away from All Might by a few inches, and All Might using this chance, he would have punched All for One in the face. Dahlia grabbing onto Deku, she would have thrown Deku at All for One, while Deku is creating a sword from his darkness. Him trying to stash away at All for One, this not working, as All for One would have just dodged out the way. Deku missing his attack, he would have crashed into a wall. All for One being a bit confused since he thought that Deku can just turn around. or at least not hit the wall or crash into the wall. But not even a second later, Deku would have came out of the crashed wall and rushed towards All For One and trying to attack him again. However, this time All For One, instead of sucking out all of Deku's blood again, he would have tried to stall as long as he can to try and stock up Deku's blood. Him attacking Deku again and again, thinking that this way he is going to stock up more of Deku's blood. As that was when All Might would have rushed in and try and stop All For One from using Deku as a sandbag. Him punching a wave of wind pressure towards All For One, but All For One using the trick he did on Gran Torino, he would have opened a portal and put Deku through the portal and causing Deku to be hit by that attack. This, of course, surprising All Might, with Dahlia ordering Spirit Aspen, it would have went straight towards Deku, through him, and into All For One. And just so you know, Dahlia did not stab any of Deku's hearts, or just any vital organs. And while both Deku and All For One are basically skewered through the Spirit Aspen, Deku would have tried to get a bit closer towards All For One, while also trying to turn around and face All For One. Dahlia, seeing that, she would have ordered Spirit Aspen to go straight through both Deku and All For One. It doing so as Spirit Aspen would have flown straight through and out of both Deku and All For One. After that, both Deku and All For One would have stumbled back a bit, with Deku falling onto the ground. Him having a hole through his, let's say, his shoulder, he would have created a sword with his other arm. Him basically using that to walk towards All For One, with All For One thinking that he's all powerful and is the strongest being there, he would have just said, "So, Izuku Midoriya, are you ready to surrender and become my, well, lab rat?" No, I'm here to defeat you." Who? And how would you do that? I've taken at least 3/4 of your blood and absorbed more than half of that. What makes you think that you still have the power to defeat me, Izuku Midoriya? I may not have the power to defeat you, but I don't need to. You've provided me with that power. Of one being confused, as Deku would have started to, well, been surrounded by a tornado of energy. This, of course, surprising everyone, as that was when Dahlia would have used Spirit Aspen and shooting it into Of One's chest, basically trying to pin Of One on the ground, stopping him from escaping, and getting him as close to Deku as she can, with Of One trying to get out, or just get himself unstuck or unpinned into the ground. He would have fired multiple attacks towards Deku. This, of course, hitting Deku, but with each hit, the tornado that is surrounding Deku would just grow bigger and bigger, until Deku is right in front of All For One. Deku, taking out the sword that is in the ground that he was using to help himself move, he would have said, "Feel the pain you inflicted on others, villain. Revenge counter!" Deku using revenge counter and, well, obliterating All For One. This killing All For One and leaving nothing but ashes. However, right after doing that attack, Deku would have fallen onto the ground and start to bleed out more blood. Dahlia, seeing that, she would have immediately rushed towards Deku and use her status demotion. And if you don't know or just forgot what status demotion is, basically it levels down the state of the thing that it is used on. So for example, let's say that Deku has a sphere, or well, a hole through his shoulder. Dahlia, using this technique, she is able to close that hole, but not fully heal it. Since it can only level down, it won't actually make that state disappear. Dahlia, using that to quote-unquote heal Deku, Deku's wounds would start to close up. However, just as she finished doing that, the ground would start to shake. This confusing everyone, thinking that there is another villain attack, as a portal that was made out of darkness powers would start to basically crack. Just like imagine a crack in the air that was made from darkness, it opening wider and wider by the second as a man, or well, a humanoid creature would have walked out of that crack. Following that humanoid being is some low tier demons. However, after let's say one or two of those low tier demons came out of the portal slash crack would have disappeared, with those caught in between the crack or up the portal between the demon world and the human world being killed, with the humanoid demon, which is a high tier demon or just a demon soldier. He would have started to look around, as this demon soldier would have locked his eyes onto Deku, it saying, Tristan. Deku being confused as to what this thing just said, but him hearing Tristan, he would have assumed that this is a demon. However, before Deku can do anything, a beam of darkness would have struck down from, well, the sky, with Zeldris walking out of it. The demon soldier, seeing Zeldris, he would have said, Zeldris, Zeldris just saying, just drop the demon language. You keep on saying that won't do anything. But aside from that, why are you here? Leave. Former executioner and the current traitor, Zeldris. The Demon King has ordered for your death. Really? We'll see about that. But is that all you came here for? No. My secondary mission was to find Prince Tristan and bring him back to the demon world. And just as that demon soldier said that, those low-tier demons that came through the portal would have been instantly killed by Zeldris. Zeldris walking over to Deku, he would have told Deku to get out there. But Deku would have insisted that he stays and help Zeldris. Zeldris saying, "If you want to help me, then leave. You being in this state won't do anything but be a burden. So, leave." No, I can help. Do what you want, but just don't get in my way, Izuku. Yes, sir. Zeldris turning around towards the demon soldier and saying, "You want me dead, don't you? Then come on, kill me." As the demon soldier and Zeldris would have clashed in a battle, which, let's just say, is a fairly even battle. Well, until Zeldris activates his demon mark. Him after activating his demon mark, Zeldris would have gotten the upper hand in the battle, as Zeldris would start to increase his attack speed and the power behind each attack. And after 10 consecutive attacks on the demon soldier, Zeldris would have thrown a wave of Hellblaze into that demon soldier. Him being able to fire that wave of Hellblaze at point blank, with the demon soldier being pushed back. Zeldris, after doing that, he would have thought, "Strange. Is he getting weaker every time I strike him?" As that was when the demon would have plunged his hand into the ground. Zeldris being a bit confused as the ground around Zeldris, along with his sword, would start to glow. Zeldris being even more confused as those glowy, well, darkness, let's just say, would have exploded simultaneously. Zeldris being caught, of course, in the middle, he would have been blown away, as the demon would start to walk closer to Zeldris. Him basically explaining that his magic power is to convert the attacks he got from his enemies into bombs. Not just any bomb, but literally any bomb. Meaning that if you punch him in the face, he could use or transform the force of your punch into a bomb and stick it on your arm without you knowing. And when he wants to fight back, he could just activate that bomb and boom. With the demon, after saying that, he would have started to activate more bombs, with the ground surrounding Zeldris again glowing with darkness. Zeldris, seeing that, he would have just gotten into his stance. Him saying, "Ominous Nebula." Him using Ominous Nebula while those bombs surrounding him explodes. However, surprisingly, Zeldris was not affected by the bombs. This confusing the demon a bit as he would start to get, sucked towards Zeldris. Him knowing that if he gets too close, he's going to be, become minced pork. Or just minced. Him also knowing that he could use magic attacks to interrupt Zeldris' attack, he would have fired a ball of Hellblaze towards Zeldris. But when that ball of Hellblaze was about to touch Zeldris, it would have been reflected towards the demon. This, of course, surprising the demon, as Zeldris would have said, "Did you seriously think that I didn't already corrected that flaw?" The demon being a bit confused, as he would have realized what Zeldris just did. Zeldris just used full counter. Zeldris saying, "That is a technique I learned from my brother. Full counter. And using it along with my Ominous Nebula. Good luck on trying to survive." As Zeldris would have increased the intensity of Ominous Nebula, this sucking in the Demon Soldier closer and closer. Now, while the Demon Soldier is being sucked towards Zeldris closer and closer, Zeldris would have also walked towards that Demon Soldier. And when the Demon Soldier is in range, well, you can imagine how Zeldris is going to slice him up. Now, Zeldris, after showing the Demon Soldier who is boss and literally disarming him, he would have asked the Demon Soldier if he had any companions, to which the Demon Soldier would just say nothing. Zeldris, expecting that, he would have just used Searchlight and looked through this demon's memories. But before Zeldris can do that, the demon would have used a spell which would, well, cause the user to self-destruct, the demon trying to bring down Zeldris along with him. However, in the nick of time, the spell would have been cancelled, with the demon being encaged in a cube. Zeldris looking up and seeing Merlin. Him asking, "What took you so long?" "You should know, Zeldris, I got a lot of things on hand." As that will be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll be amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!